The klaxons aboard the TES Hyperion shattered the peaceful silence of deep space patrol. Commander Thea Blackwood's eyes snapped open as the emergency lighting bathed her quarters in crimson. She was on the bridge within minutes, her dark hair still disheveled from sleep. "Status report," she barked, sliding into her command chair. Lieutenant Walsh's fingers danced across his console. "Unknown vessels, Commander. 3 of them just dropped out of FTL at the edge of our sensor range. Configuration doesn't match anything in our database." Thea's jaw tightened. Humanity had been alone in space for the century since achieving FTL travel. First contact was inevitable, but why did it have to happen during her watch? "Show me," she ordered. The main view screen flickered to life, displaying 3 angular vessels that resembled obsidian arrowheads. Their surfaces seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "They're accelerating toward us," Walsh reported. "Their energy signatures are off the charts." "Open all frequencies, standard greeting package," Thea commanded. The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency, broadcasting humanity's carefully prepared first contact protocols in every known format. The response came as a searing beam of energy that carved through their starboard armor like paper. "Evasive maneuvers," Thea shouted as the ship lurched. "Sound general quarters. Get me fleet command." The Hyperion's engines roared to life, but the alien vessels moved with impossible grace. They were being hunted, Thea realized with growing dread. These weren't explorers or diplomats. They were predators. "Hull breach on decks 4 through 6, the damage control officer reported. "Emergency force fields holding. Return fire, all batteries," Thea ordered. The Hyperion's railguns spat streams of hypervelocity rounds, but the alien ship's shields flared and deflected them effortlessly. "Commander," Walsh called out, his voice tight, "we're picking up some kind of signal. It's broadcasting on all frequencies." The bridge speakers crackled with a harsh mechanical voice. "We are the Varrax. Your species has been deemed unworthy of existence. Submit to extinction." Thea's hands gripped her armrests until her knuckles went white. "Like hell, we will. Execute emergency jump protocol Delta. Get us back to Earth. They need to know what's coming." The Hyperion's FTL drive spooled up as another energy beam sliced through their port side. Sparks showered from damaged consoles as the ship shuddered. "Jump drive at 87%. The navigation officer shouted over the chaos. "We need 30 more seconds. Engineering reports critical damage to the primary coolant system," Walsh added. "We can't take another hit like that." Thea made a split-second decision. "Dump our antimatter reserves. All of it. Set it to detonate as soon as we jump." "But Commander, that's against every safety protocol." "Do it. We have to slow them down. Buy Earth some time to prepare." The crew worked frantically as the alien ships closed in for the kill. The FTL drive hummed louder, building to a crescendo. "Jump in 5, 4, 3. The Hyperion vanished in a flash of light just as another energy beam reached their position. Behind them, the abandoned antimatter reserves detonated in a miniature sun, engulfing the pursuing Varrax ships. When they emerged from FTL on the outskirts of the Sol system, the Hyperion was barely holding together. But they had survived. More importantly, they had information about humanity's first hostile contact. Thea opened a channel to Fleet Command, her voice grim but determined. "This is Commander Blackwood of the TES Hyperion. Priority 1 alert. We are at war." As response teams scrambled to assist the damaged ship, Thea stared at the tactical display showing their sensor readings of the Varrax vessels. Humanity had never faced a threat like this before. But she knew her species well. They wouldn't go quietly into the night. The real fight was just beginning. Dr. Marcus Reid stood before the Emergency Defense Council, his presentation displaying the recovered sensor data from the Hyperion's encounter. The gathered military and civilian leaders watched intently as he highlighted the Varrax ship's energy signatures. "Their technology operates on principles we've barely theorized," he explained, adjusting his wire-rimmed glasses. But that's actually good news. They're not invincible. They're just using a different rulebook. Admiral Hassan leaned forward. Explain. Marcus brought up a simulation showing the alien vessel's shield mechanics. They've mastered energy manipulation, but their defenses are specifically tuned to handle kinetic impacts and energy weapons. It's like they've never encountered anyone who thought differently. And that helps us how? Commander Blackwood asked from her seat. She'd been pulled from the Hyperion's repairs to attend this meeting. Because humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, Marcus replied, eyes bright with revelation. It's our adaptability, our ability to think laterally. The Varrax shields don't account for quantum field disruption because they've never needed to. He pulled up his research data. I've been working on quantum entanglement weapons for years. Everyone said they were impractical compared to conventional arms. But against the Varrax, they'd bypass those shields completely. The room erupted in urgent discussions. Admiral Hassan raised a hand for silence. How quickly can you weaponize this technology? That's the problem, Marcus admitted. We'd need to get close, really close, to their ships. The effect dissipates rapidly with distance. Commander Blackwood straightened in her chair. The Hyperion's stealth systems. If we combine them with Dr. Reid's quantum disruptors, we might have a chance, Hassan finished. But we'd need a volunteer crew. It would be a suicide mission. Not necessarily, Marcus interjected. I have an idea about that too. But I'll need resources and time. The Admiral checked his tablet. Latest intelligence gives us 2 weeks before the Varrax fleet reaches our outer colonies. That's all the time you get. Marcus nodded grimly. I'll need Commander Blackwood's help, and Lieutenant Chen from the Quantum Physics Division. Don't, Hassan declared. But this stays classified. If word gets out about how advanced the Varrax are, there'd be panic, Thea agreed. We can't let that happen. As the meeting dispersed, Marcus gathered his materials. He caught Thea studying him with a mixture of hope and skepticism. You really think this will work? She asked quietly. Honestly, I don't know. But humans have always been at our best when backed into a corner. We're about to prove that to the galaxy. The next 2 weeks were a blur of activity. Marcus and his team worked around the clock, converting theoretical physics into practical weapons. The Hyperion underwent extensive modifications, its systems stripped down and rebuilt around the new quantum technology. Lieutenant Chen proved invaluable, her expertise in quantum mechanics helping bridge the gap between theory and application. But as the deadline approached, tensions mounted. The Varrax had already destroyed 2 deep space outposts, leaving no survivors. Finally, Marcus stood in the Hyperion's new quantum core chamber, running final diagnostics. The ship hummed with potential around him, its conventional weapons replaced with experimental systems that might save humanity, or fail spectacularly. Core is stable, he reported to the bridge. Quantum field generators operating within parameters. We're as ready as we'll ever be. Then it's time, Thea's voice replied. All hands, battle stations. We're about to show these aliens why you don't underestimate humanity. As the Hyperion prepared to depart, Marcus sent a silent prayer to whatever might be listening. They had one shot at this. If he was wrong about any of his calculations, the consequences would be devastating. But he wasn't wrong. He couldn't be. Humanity's future depended on it. Lieutenant Chen monitored the quantum core readings as the Hyperion slipped through space, running silent. The modified ship's energy signature was barely detectable, thanks to her quantum field dampening algorithms. The bridge crew worked in hushed tones. They were deep in Varrax-controlled territory, where 3 human colonies had already fallen silent. The aliens' primary fleet was ahead, a dozen obsidian vessels pushing inexorably toward Earth. Quantum core stable at 18%. Nova reported. Field coherence holding. Dr. Reid nodded from his station. Remember, we only get one shot at this. The moment we activate the disruptor, Our position will be compromised. Commander Blackwood studied the tactical display. We need to get closer. Their point defense grid will tear us apart if we don't time this perfectly. The Hyperion crept forward, its stealth systems straining against detection. Nova's fingers danced across her console, making microscopic adjustments to maintain their quantum camouflage. Suddenly, alarms flashed silently on her screen. Energy spike detected. They're scanning this sector. Hold position, Thea ordered. All systems, minimal power. Lieutenant Chen, can you mask our signature? Nova's mind raced through calculations, diverting power to the quantum sink. If I can match their scan frequency. Her modifications worked. The alien scan passed over them without pause. But they weren't safe yet. The Varrax ships had begun a new pattern, methodically sweeping the space around them. They were hunting. They know we're here, Marcus whispered. They just can't pinpoint us. Nova checked her readings again. Commander, I have an idea. It's risky, but she explained her plan quickly. Thea's eyes narrowed. You want to use their own scan patterns to mask our approach. That's insane. It's also brilliant, Marcus interjected. Their energy signatures would create interference patterns, blind spots we could exploit. The commander made her decision. Do it. But we'll only get one chance. Nova began timing their movements to the Varrax scan pulses, using the aliens' own technology against them. The Hyperion slipped between the energy waves like a ghost, drawing steadily closer to the main fleet. Range to target, 15,000 kilometers, Tactical reported. We're almost within disruptor range. That's when everything went wrong. One of the Varrax ships suddenly changed course, heading directly toward them. They'd been detected. Energy spike. Nova shouted. They're charging weapons. Initiate quantum burst. Thea commanded. Full power to disruptors. Nova and Marcus worked in perfect sync, channeling power to their experimental weapon. The quantum core hummed to life, building to a crescendo. The Varrax ship fired, its energy beams slicing through space toward them. But Nova had anticipated this. She redirected the quantum field, creating a localized distortion. The alien weapon passed through empty space as the Hyperion seemed to blink out of existence, reappearing kilometers away. The quantum displacement had worked exactly as Nova had theorized. Disruptors at full charge. Marcus announced. Firing solution locked. Commander Blackwood gave the order. Fire. The quantum disruptor activated, sending invisible waves of probability manipulation toward the Varrax fleet. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the nearest alien ship began to distort, its perfect geometric form twisting as quantum fields tore through its shields. Systems failed catastrophically as fundamental forces broke down at the atomic level. The Varrax vessel imploded, collapsing in on itself before exploding in a brilliant flash. The remaining ships reacted instantly, but their coordinated response came too late. Nova's quantum field modifications had worked better than anyone had dared hope. The Hyperion danced between enemy fire, its disruptors wreaking havoc on the alien fleet's sophisticated technology. But victory wouldn't come easily. As the battle intensified, Nova realized this was just the beginning. The real test of humanity's ingenuity still lay ahead. The Hyperion limped back to Earth, battle-scared but victorious. Their success against the Varrax fleet had bought humanity precious time, but Dr. Marcus Reid knew something wasn't right. The alien ships had adapted too quickly to their quantum weapons, almost as if they'd been prepared. Security Chief Rivera's report confirmed his fears. We found quantum resonance signatures in our auxiliary systems. They'd been gathering data on our technology for weeks. Commander Blackwood's face darkened. How? Our security protocols were compromised, Rivera interrupted. Someone on this ship has been feeding them information. Nova Chen reviewed the data, her expression grim. These signatures match the patterns we detected during our approach. They knew we were coming. The revelation sent shockwaves through the command staff. The Varrax hadn't just been advanced. They'd had help from within. Marcus isolated the compromised systems, discovering microscopic quantum transmitters embedded throughout the ship. The technology was elegant, nearly invisible to conventional scans. Only their recent experiences with quantum manipulation had made detection possible. "The infiltration goes deeper than we thought," he reported. "These aren't just transmitters. They are rewriting our systems at the quantum level." Nova worked frantically to purge the alien influence, but for every corrupted system they cleaned, 2 more showed signs of tampering. The Varrax weren't just gathering intelligence, they were attempting to take control of the ship. "Engineering reports critical failures in the quantum core containment," Rivera announced. "If we don't shut it down, we'll lose the whole ship." But Nova saw something in the pattern of failures. "Wait, these aren't random malfunctions. They're creating a quantum entanglement network. The entire ship is becoming a massive quantum computer." Marcus understood immediately. "They're not trying to destroy us. They're trying to assimilate us, turn our own technology against Earth." Commander Blackwood made the call. "Initiate emergency shutdown. All systems, including life support if necessary. We can't let them complete the transformation." As systems went dark across the ship, Marcus and Nova raced to preserve their quantum weapon research. The Varrax were adapting, learning, but so were they. Humanity's greatest advantage had always been its ability to learn from failure. "There's something else," Nova revealed, showing Marcus her findings. "The quantum signatures. They're not just transmitting data. They're changing it, rewriting history itself at the subatomic level." The implications were staggering. The Varrax weren't just technologically advanced, they were manipulating reality itself. Every victory, every breakthrough humans had achieved might have been part of their plan. But Marcus saw hope in the darkness. "They're changing our past, but they can't change human nature. Our adaptability, our creativity. That's not coded in quantum states. That's who we are." As the Hyperion drifted powerless in space, its crew worked by emergency lights to purge the alien influence. They had hours at most before the Varrax realized their infiltration had been discovered. The real battle wasn't just for survival anymore. It was for humanity's very identity, their future, their reality itself. And this time, they couldn't afford to lose. With life support failing and alien quantum corruption spreading through the Hyperion systems, Nova Chen made a startling discovery. "The Varrax aren't changing our past," she announced. "They're changing their own future." Marcus analyzed her findings. The quantum signatures revealed the truth. The Varrax were remnants of a dying timeline, attempting to ensure their survival by manipulating causality itself. Commander Blackwood gathered the senior staff in the emergency lip bridge. "We have 18 minutes before they realize their infiltration has failed. Options. We can't fight them conventionally," Marcus said. "But their quantum manipulation has a weakness. They're so focused on controlling probable outcomes, they've never considered impossible ones." Nova understood immediately. "We reversed the quantum field. Instead of fighting their changes, we embraced them. Let them think they're winning." The plan was audacious. They would allow the Varrax quantum corruption to spread, but modify it subtly, introducing human unpredictability into their perfectly calculated system. "Divert all remaining power to the quantum core," Thea ordered. "Chief Rivera, begin evacuation protocols. If this fails, I want our research data to reach Earth." The Varrax fleet emerged from FTL, surrounding the powerless Hyperion. Their ships pulsed with dark energy, beginning the final phase of their reality manipulation. But humanity had one last card to play. Nova initiated the modified quantum field, while Marcus introduced a cascade of random variables into the ship's systems. The Varrax, detecting success in their infiltration, pressed their advantage. "They're linking with our quantum network," Nova reported, "attempting full integration. The alien ships connected directly with the Hyperion systems, their superior technology easily overwhelming human defenses. But that was exactly what the crew had planned for. Through the quantum link, human consciousness flooded into the Varrax network. Not organized resistance or calculated attacks, but pure, chaotic creativity. The very essence of human unpredictability. The alien ships faltered as their reality-altering algorithms encountered something they couldn't quantify: human imagination. Their perfect calculations crashed against waves of illogical decisions, emotional responses, and impossible dreams. "It's working," Marcus shouted. "Their quantum network is destabilizing." The Varrax ships began to dissolve, their perfectly ordered existence unable to maintain coherence in the face of human chaos. They had sought to change reality through pure logic, but had instead been undone by humanity's embrace of the impossible. Commander Blackwood watched as the alien fleet collapsed into quantum uncertainty, their attempt to rewrite history becoming their undoing. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "The Varrax threat is neutralized." In the aftermath, as repair crews restored the Hyperion systems, Nova and Marcus studied the quantum readings. The Varrax had nearly succeeded in changing reality itself, but had failed to understand a fundamental truth. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't in controlling the future, but in embracing its uncertainty. The ship limped home, its crew forever changed by their encounter. They had faced an enemy that could rewrite reality, and had won not through superior technology or strength, but through the uniquely human ability to imagine the impossible and make it real. As Earth appeared on their view screen, Commander Blackwood turned to her crew. "Let this be a lesson to any other aliens watching," she said. "Humanity doesn't just adapt to change. We create it. And that makes us infinitely more dangerous than any reality-altering technology." The Hyperion's quantum core hummed softly, now forever tuned to the frequency of human possibility. A warning and a promise to the galaxy that humanity would always find a way, not just to survive, but to thrive in the face of impossible odds.